Hello and namaskar and welcome to IIPA's special show Stalwarts Speak. I am Rakhee Bakshee. Here, as we always do, we are going to talk to a very bright mind here, somebody who's an assistant secretary. We are talking to Neha Bannerjee, who passed out in 2020, cracked UPSC Civil Services examination, got 20th rank, and is now here to talk to us about her vision for India, what she feels about her role, and how she cracked the UPSC examination. So thank you for joining us, Neha.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you.
And so tell us, as to how should one study and prepare? Should one study very smart, or should one really slog and really keep reading, studying? What should be the methodology?
I think, ma'am, that a combination of both is very much required when we talk of clearing the civil services. So it has to be hard work. There is no replacement of hard work. Like, we cannot say that smart work is a replacement to hard work and putting in all your best efforts. But at the same time, we also need to get some of the fundamentals of the examination in a very correct way. For example, some of the smart techniques which I followed during my preparation was that like making online notes, so that because I was preparing along with a job, so I had to prepare most of the times on the go. So while I was traveling or while I was in office and then again commuting and all, so I used to prepare like online notes, maybe in my mobile or maybe in my laptop or somewhere, and in Google or maybe in other places. So we have to keep a track of what we study, like, because we study a lot, we are reading newspapers, we are going through reference books and so many other things, but very few of the material we are able to carry with ourselves when we sit on the examination. So we have to be very well document our knowledge. So that is one. And secondly, which I feel is that everybody there is giving this exam from their own perspectives, and fortunately like everybody has their they have the capability to perform in this exam with their own unique set of skills and capabilities. So we have to realize that also there is no one single way of clearing the exam, there is no one single short way of clearing the exam, and we need to have that confidence throughout the process that in whatever stage of life I am in, maybe I am working, maybe I am not working, maybe I have just graduated, or maybe it has been years that I have graduated. Maybe I can be comfortable with a humanities optional, or I can be comfortable with an engineering optional. So these are all personal choices. There is no one shot formula, and we should not keep on running after things which are very prevalently shown in the market, but rather we should introspect and make it a very personalized exam. That is, I think, a very
well shared. Was it your first attempt, or
yes, it was
your first attempt?
Yes.
So what about people who sometimes do not crack it in first or second attempt? What is your thought about that, as to how people should sustain with these studies, because it takes so many things, so many values one has to inculcate, maybe sacrifice, personal belief, as everybody would say, and get a very sustained kind of understanding of what one is doing. So tell us more about that, how those values, those elements, I think a student who's preparing for UPSC should have.
So definitely, like, there are certain, so as I said, that it's a very personalized exam. One can definitely mold their strategy as per their situations and circumstances. But keeping that aside, some common values are also there. For example, perseverance and hard work, and also having that confidence. And I think the most important thing which worked for me is not worrying too much about the result. Like, even before studying, if we start thinking about the consequences, what will happen when I'll be an IAS officer, or what will happen when I crack the exam, if we then we'll be daydreaming throughout the process, and we won't get into the nitty-gritties of what is required practically. So first of all, I think the main mantra here is to enjoy the process itself. Like, I prepared for this exam not solely to become like to just crack the exam, not solely for the purpose of cracking the exam, but also because I enjoyed studying. Like, I enjoyed reading diverse things. I enjoyed reading the newspapers, reading various publications, various non-fiction books about India and its development trajectory, and so many other debates. I used to watch national television debates on our development journey. So I enjoyed this, and I feel that is I think the only way to sustain yourself throughout long periods. Like, because there is a very minute amount of difference between people who clear in the first attempt and people who do not. So there is nothing to believe that people who are not clearing in the first attempt, it is not that they have done something wrong, or it is not that that probably they were not equipped enough. I don't really believe, because competition is so huge, and it is not that. There is also an element of luck, I must confess here. There is some element of
being there at the right place at the right time.
Absolutely. So the thing is that we have to keep up that spirit, but at the same time we should continue with it. In fact, I would say we should start into this journey only when we enjoy the domain of this, and the domain is like learning about, like I used to always feel that even if I don't clear the exam, then also if I carry on with my private job, then also I will be better informed than any.
So what you're doing, Neha, actually sharing a strategy, but also a little bit of philosophy behind it.
Yeah.
So I think that's what worked for you. But any particular study or reference material you would like to share for the viewers' advantage?
So there are certain, so here also again there we can come up with a strategy here, because firstly there is there is one kind of books which are called the foundational books, like the NCRTs, then there is some polity for Lakshmikant, and then other books. These are some foundational books which anyone can surf the internet and find it through. And apart from this, once we finish this layer, so our preparation should be like, not should, but again which worked for me. So it was that I prepared in layers. That first of all I made myself thorough with all the foundational material, then I went to some more advanced concepts, and then more advanced concepts, so that I build on my knowledge in a structured way, rather than reading every day and everything. For example, and also keeping a balance between the subjects. Like if you are reading too much polity but we are completely neglecting, let's say, history, then our cumulative marks will go down. So we have to keep a balance among the papers, among the subjects, and take a layered approach to the preparation.
Okay, coming down to now your new role and where you are right now, an assistant secretary also, how is it to let's say swing between too many things also, handle too many roles, multiple roles at the same time, challenges, pressures, delivery? How do you do that?
Yeah, so this is actually a very interesting question, in fact, because so whatever things, whatever dreams that I had before joining the service, I would like to say that I did not imagine. In fact, my imagination was even lesser. Like after coming to the service, I realized that there is even much greater scope, like the diversity and the scope that we have, in the field to perform, to deliver, to actually do service. That is like immense. That is huge. And so this is again a great opportunity for all of us. So throughout our stages, like we are trained in Labasna in Mussoorie, and then we are sent to the districts in our respective state cadres for around 10 months, and then we are again posted here as assistant secretaries for 3 months. So in the field, we get a very different kind of a work atmosphere, where we learned absolutely from the grassroots. We are able to see how the government functions there. In fact, not only the government, how the non-government agencies also function, how the Panchayati Raj functions, how the decentralization of powers have taken place at the grassroots, how law and order situations are handled, and also like when we study for the exam, we study about all the development schemes, but then we enter when we enter, we see that how are they delivered up till the last mile.
So the processes,
yes, the processes. I mean, because we know the vision and mission of those schemes, we already studied before clearing the exam. We are also equipped enough in the academy for that. But once we are in the field, we know that what are the process behind them, and actually how to deliver public service in a more efficient way. And everywhere there is a scope of innovation. Everywhere, every place of I think public service delivery, there are lots and lots of scope of innovation, of improving your efficiency as well as the effectiveness of the service.
Anything that you would like to share, maybe where we can be innovative? I mean, which means you.
Like in every, like I said, it all depends on the interest area. So I can share probably my experience. Like so in my cadre, we are posted as block development officers during our probation period. So there I found that the area that I was posted in, so that had a relatively higher incidence of girl-child marriage. So, and then the schools had just opened during that time. So what we did was we found out that the turnout, the attendance of the girls, adolescent girls, were lesser in schools. So to attract them to the schools and bring them up to the fold of schools, school attendance, so we went and installed sanitary pad vending machines in the schools, which was a very low investment. It was a very low investment, but we hope that it will boost up the attendance rates, and it will give a kind of a focus that government is focusing on adolescent girls' health as well as education combined. this is one area. Then a lot of other areas, lots of focuses are going on digitalization of
Exactly.
of infrastructures, because over the years we are building infrastructures in the field, and now it's a time that we digitize them. For example, in our district, an initiative was taken to digitize the road infrastructure, the road, whatever roads we have built by several agencies, we wanted to, we plotted them on a GIS map so that it can be monitored centrally. So these are some of the little innovations that we always have
And
to do.
you come from West Bengal, Neha, and in West Bengal I know that people really have these addas, they talk and there is family, there are friends and a lot of conversations. So how did you really isolate yourself when you had to study?
Actually, no, when I was preparing, I was not really in West Bengal. I was actually a part of it, I was in West Bengal because I studied from IIT Kharagpur. So in the final year of my college, I decided that I'll prepare for this exam. Then for around 2 months at home, I was at home, and then most of my preparation was along with a job in Noida. I was working in a private firm. So yes, but as far as this is concerned, how to isolate yourself from social circles, I think if you are with a job and if you have some other engagements, then time management becomes an issue, and for that you have to cut down on the vestigial part of your time.
True.
So I do admit that I had to cut down on a lot of my social networks and friends, and I completely stopped using social media. Firstly, that is a good way to connect to people, but during your preparation, I think it's at least I felt that stopping using,
not concentrating too much on that.
Yes, exactly. It helped me. It helped save a lot of time.
Sure. So you balanced it all. What is the vision for vision of India in 2047? I'm asking everyone your thoughts after 25 years. How do you envision?
That's a hugely magnanimous thought, and so India is such a diverse country. Probably it's very difficult to think of one thing that comes, but I think a few things is that, for example, I think there's going to be a huge governance change and governance reform, the way we function, the way the citizens, we often hear of this term, from citizen-centric governance to governance-centric citizens. And also we find out that I think something which it was still my inspiration before joining the service, and still it is, that is, I think, the focus on skill upgradation and education. Because again, the census is just going to be conducted, and it is expected that India probably will be the highest populated country of the world, and there we have a huge scope of demographic dividend, a large chunk of young population in the country. And I think a lot of focus will be there.
And a lot of mantle is on you, people like you actually.
Yes, that to bring out first of all, education, more focus on learning outcomes as far as primary education is concerned, and I think that mixing of vocational education along with normal education. When we talk of the middle and the high school educations, so that we can upgrade the skill sets of young people, and we can utilize the demographic dividend.
That's very well explained actually. And lastly, a brief message to all the youngsters maybe you could be watching. Of course, there are a whole lot of people who would be watching you, but people who are looking at UPSC to crack.
Yes, so for the aspirants, for who all are thinking of giving this exam, I think that my message to all of you would be that first of all, you need to have confidence on yourself, and obviously take this exam only if you have interest in this domain, and only if it interests you. It's not an end in itself, it is just a way. It is just, once we come on the other side of the curtain, when we enter this world of public service, we realize that the examination is just it's just a key to enter into this world of public service, and it should be taken as that. It is not an end in itself. So we have to keep up the motivation throughout our lives. It is not only throughout the exam, but throughout our lives, this motivation of public service will be there. And my final message is that just enjoy the process. I think that is all. Enjoy the examination process. It gives you huge ideas.
So basically, you're saying relax and don't really panic a lot.
Yes, exactly.
So that's what you're saying, Neha. Thank you so much for talking to us here at IIPA, and we wish you all the best. And that was Neha Bannerjee talking to us at IIPA, and we wish her all the very best.